Wrestling fans, are you ready? Because PKAW Entertainment brings KAW Reunion Tour to Jackson, Tennessee, October the 26th, 2023 at the Slide and Ride Rodeo Arena. Big stars set to appear. KAW Originals, I wouldn't tell you no lies. PKFNW is on the way. We've got tickets, we've got babes, we've got beer, we've got blunts, and we've got blood. Check out our sponsors. The Convicts will be appearing. Oh yeah, that's right. Danny B. Good and his son, DJ Brown. The fabulous Chris Rocker coming to KAW at the Slide and Ride Rodeo Arena, October the 26th, 2023. We're kicking ass and chewing bubblegum, and we're all out of bubblegum.
All right, there. You seen it right there. Just a couple of weeks away. PKAW Entertainment promoting the big KAW Reunion Tour, October 26th at the Slide and Ride Rodeo Arena in Jackson, Tennessee. But it's Wednesday night. It's 7 p.m. And you're watching Buster Unmasked, episode 32. And guess what? Today, it's all about Liberty Pro Women's Wrestling and Daryl Bruff, excuse me. Daryl Bruff. And I tell you what, we're not going to waste a whole lot of time. I know that Mr. Bruff's in the waiting room, and we're going to get him on here, and we're going to get to talking. We're going to find out a whole lot about Liberty Pro Women's Wrestling. And hey, this ain't your everyday, ordinary wrestling company. This is Custom Pro Wrestling. And hey, before you go to frown your nose and act like it's a four-letter word, trust me, we're going to hear what Mr. Bruff's got to say, and it's not. I was the same way when I first was introduced to Custom Pro Wrestling. I don't claim to know a whole lot about it, and that's what we're here today to do, is learn from this man. It's not a four-letter word. It is a part of pro wrestling. It's a big part. So I tell you what, let's get this man on here. He's 2 decades in the wrestling business, and he is the owner of Liberty Pro Women's Wrestling, Mr. Daryl Bruff. Daryl.
Hello, Brother Buster.
Man, it's a pleasure to have you here, dude. I've been looking forward to this show.
Well, thank you. I have been too, and I appreciate all the good comments and good things you do for us, advertising and everything. You're a help to Mid-South Wrestling, no doubt about it.
Man, I appreciate this. Me and another promoter from around here were talking a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about how wrestling is really a thankless job. You know, it really is. You go through a wrestling career, wherever you are, whatever part of the business you're in, and overall, it's a thankless job. And it's good when people tell you that what you do matters, man. I appreciate that so much. We already got a comment from Stephanie Jeffries. Boss man, hey, you know a lot about that young lady, don't you?
Yes, sir, I do. She wrestled for us the very first time when we were using the TIWF arena in Trenton when she was 14 years old. And she's just gotten, as my old preacher used to say, gooder and gooder every year.
Gooder and gooder every year.
She's one of the better ladies in this part of the country. And I have nothing but compliments for that young lady.
Oh, yeah, she's one of the top females around this area for sure. And really, I'm like you. She's one of the top around the country, I believe. But look, yeah. Thomas, I'm sorry, Daryl. I know it's hard because it says Thomas down there. Everybody knows you as Thomas Bruff. But Daryl, before we even get into Liberty Pro, look, I want to know a little bit about Daryl Bruff. I want to know how you even got interested in pro wrestling, and then take us to how you actually got involved in pro wrestling, how you got in the business, if you don't mind.
All right, let's go all the way back to like 1963. My mother and dad had a restaurant in Union City, Tennessee called the City Cafe. It was breakfast, lunch, and dinner restaurant, and then about 8 o'clock, it basically was a beer joint. And all the wrestlers every Thursday night come to Union City for one of the best people I ever knew in my life, Leonard Fielding from Jackson. He used to be on WDXI radio and a little bit on TV, but mainly radio. And he was the promoter. And the wrestlers would come to the restaurant and eat around 5 o'clock or get a little snack or something. Then we'd all go to the show, me and my dad. Actually, my dad took me till I was 14 and he passed away. But we would go every Thursday night, sit on the front row, And I was around that for years. And then Bill Warren took over in West Tennessee, West Kentucky, I believe, and then maybe even North Mississippi. And I continued to go. That was when Tommy Gilbert and Eddie Marlin were on top around that part of the world. And then later on, I just always been a fan. I started getting to be friends with Eddie Marlin and Randy Hales as the supermarket I run in Jackson, Tennessee, E.W. James and Sons. We started selling tickets for them, and Eddie would come a couple times a week, or when they had a show, depending on if it was weekly or monthly, and leave the tickets, and then I'd take them to him on Sunday, and give him the money we took in and all that, and then we'd always go to the show there, and then let's see, after that, I just hung around a lot with a lot of different people in the wrestling business, and then in the 2000s. Probably about 2004, I met and got introduced to Lexi Fife and her husband, Scott. They own Slammin' Ladies down in Florida. And we basically do what they do, except they've done it a lot more. She's got over 6,000 tapes or matches in her library. And we're between my original company and this one, we're approaching 3,000. So
that's a lot of content.
That is a lot of content. And of course, I sold that company in 2013. And then customers and wrestlers, workers, whatever we want to call them on here, kept contacting me about, excuse me, will you come back? Please come back. You treat us right. We really want you to come back. So we were living in Smyrna, Tennessee at that time, and my wife come home from work. I'd got in. That's when I flew every week, working around the country. And I said, well, I'm going to do it again. And she said, what? I said, I'm going to start the wrestling back up. And she goes, you've lost your old blankety blank mind, which is what most good wives say in a situation like that. So we started it back up 2018 and been going strong ever since. We let's see, we got 1,700. Well, hold on, Buster. I'll tell you. 1,734 matches right now on our download pad.
Ooh, that's a bunch of content. That's a ton of content.
Yeah, and I'd done ring announcing for Lexi once. She had a show in Columbia, Tennessee once, and she had done customs that day. So I got to see firsthand what she did. And in the world of customs, I'll say this: I don't mind being in second place when she's in first place, because they are the premier custom company. But by George, we're number 2, and we're proud to be.
So they still are doing custom pro wrestling?
Yes, she is, and she's associated with the Shine promotion down there in Florida that runs, I think, monthly women's shows.
Yeah. Well, there are. I'll be honest. There's a lot of pop-up custom companies around, but Liberty Pro, especially around our area, Liberty Pros is from what I know and everybody I've ever talked to, everybody who's ever worked there, it is the top of the line place. If you want to do custom wrestling, custom pro wrestling, and it's Liberty Pro is the place to go, is what I understand.
Thank you for that part at our reputation. We work very hard, and we have to cross some bridges to keep working hard at it. We have some haters just like you do and everybody else, but it's okay. We just keep trugging along what we do, don't look back, and keep doing the greatest thing we can do.
Yeah, my motto about that is, if you got people hating on you, you must be doing something right.
Exactly.
That's how I look at it. To me, it's more of a compliment.
Yes, sir.
When you got people hating on you, it's a compliment. No matter what you're doing or who you are, they're paying attention, and you know it. They're letting you know that they're paying attention to what you're doing, and that's really all that counts. This is the wrestling business. It's an all eyes on me type of business, Yeah. If you're doing something, or go ahead, Daryl.
I was just going to say, and just like you mentioned, there's several versions of custom wrestling companies out there. You can go from one like us, Slamming Ladies both, who do professional wrestling only. There's no boobs, no booty. We try to keep the booty out, but right now it seems to be the thing. Little tail end hanging out of their trunks. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. And then you got the ones that do topless. You got the ones that do total nude. You got the ones that do sexual crap. Well, I wish they wasn't called custom companies, because they're not. They should be called pervert companies. And we will do professional wrestling.
Go ahead, Daryl. Finish.
I'm just going to say we will keep doing professional wrestling until the first time something ain't professional, and then we'll kindly step out of it, because we're not going to allow that.
Well, let me ask you this. For a lot of people, me including, I don't really know a lot about customs. I've only really encountered it over the last couple of years since I've been back in the wrestling business.
Yeah.
What is custom pro wrestling? Explain that to me. Explain that to all of us. What is custom pro wrestling?
Well, in custom pro wrestling is we advertise a group of ladies and a couple guys for each taping. And then customers or people that are doing it for the first time, and we get a lot of first timers, will send us, they want to see, let's just use this last weekend, Casey Lennox against Shalance. And they say they want to match 10 minutes, no referee. They want Shalance to control the match, be the heel, and the finish what they want, figure four or pile driver or whatever else it is. There's not many pile drivers, thank God. And then they simply do that. The only difference, in my opinion, and I've argued with people, some of them don't believe this, but the only difference in what we do and what you used to do on Friday and Saturday nights back in your career, we don't have a crowd. That's it. That is the only difference. We do it professionally. If they ask for a ref, we have a referee in there, a very good referee, Zach Kaiser. He does an excellent job. We've had some others, Kelly Blankenship, Scott Stevens over the year, Jerry Looney, but they're referees. I mean, and then we do customer ask. So instead of Randy Hales booking it or Bo James booking it or Brian Rogers booking it, the customer books it. That's the difference. And if it's something we don't allow, like I got one guy that's tried this 5 times in the last week to get us to do a stink face match. Well, he called Rikishi, because we don't do that crap. We're not going to start that. We don't. We had a tickling match last time, 5 minutes, and I couldn't stand that. That was the longest 5 minutes of my life. And that one got through the cracks. I mean, there wasn't nothing dirty. It was just bottom of the feet, but that ain't pro wrestling to me.
Well, let me ask you that. Is it hard for you sometimes because obviously I guess it goes by also what they're willing to pay as to how much control they actually have over what happens in the match and how it goes? Or is it just one set fee and they kind of get to dictate what they want to see?
If there's juice involved, it's more.
Okay.
But usually we use other stuff, if you know what I'm saying. No, it's a set fee. Like for a 10-minute match, it's $259, and that includes, we had to go back and put the PayPal fees in. It used to be $250, but it's $259 now. And they say what they want. Then once we get their script, we send it to the performers, and they can say, yes, I'm fine with this, or no, I'm not. If she says, no, I'm not taking a pile driver, then it comes out of the match. I send him a note back, or her. We do have some lady customers, and say, I'm sorry, but this match is not approved because of the pile driver. She doesn't feel comfortable doing it.
Well, see, that's the thing too. I like the fact that the talent are really still in control of what they do and don't do. That's the one thing that's always kind of thrown me off about the customs is I would assume it's hard, man, when you get whatever a customer sends you, like a script or however they do it of what they want. Then you got to go through it, and then I'm assuming you go through it and kind of check it out first. And then if it seems okay to you, you send it on to the talent, like you said. But it's is it any harder for the talent to have matches like that than it is just normal matches out every Friday night, every Saturday night in a normal show with the crowd? Does it give the talent any more problems knowing that they've got to hit? Of course, they have to hit all these certain marks and moves in any show they go to anyway. So it's really not that much different when you think about it. But do you get people sometimes that want so much you can't get it all in one match, or you feel like it's just too much?
Yeah, we've had that over the years. And I just send it back and I said, you're wanting a 15-minute match in 10 minutes, and it ain't going to happen. You're going to either have to take stuff out or move it up to a 15-minute match. I mean, and we got one guy, he's a great customer. He's been with me at both companies. And we love getting his scripts because it is detailed almost down to when they can breathe. But he always has great matches. He always picks girls that can work good together, and we appreciate that. But he is very detailed. And then we get some that says, I want a 10-minute match between $1 Million Baby and Diana Taylor. I want $1 Million Baby to go over, and y'all come up with what you want to do. So we get them from one spectrum really all the way to the other, Buster.
Well, that's pretty cool because, now that I hear you kind of explain it out a little better, because I've never really had no one sit down and explain to me exactly what it is and how it works, but it allows these customers to somewhat be bookers, play booker for a night or for a match,
That's exactly.
And I see the appeal to that. I see, because everybody out here now is a smart fan. All
True.
of them.
Thanks.
The ones that ain't think they're the smartest. But everybody's a smart fan. Everybody wants to book their own stuff. So I really understand the appeal to it. And you answered one of my questions. I was going to ask you, do you have women customers, or is it basically a male fan base? But you said obviously you do have some female customers that book matches. So that's really cool, man. And look, Daryl, I want to pull up a graphic because you were talking about the difference in Liberty Pro and some of these other places that do customs. I want to pull up a graphic, kind of show everybody, and I want to give you my opinion on what I see when we look at your cards, man. Y'all always have some of the nicest cards. They're always professional. Let me get this pulled up.
John Seymour did them for a long time. And then this year, probably about 6 months ago, we switched off to our actual webmaster doing it. John was, I think, burned out a little. John's a good guy. He made a ton of posters for a ton of people. But that work right there is done by our webmaster, Henry Anderson, and he's wonderful. He's wonderful. He does everything on the web for us. If you needed me to do it, we're out of business in 30 minutes.
That's the same way I am, man. I'm over here working with magic markers and crayons, man. If I could work with all this technology, man, I'd be dangerous, but I can't do it either, man. I've tried figuring it out. But look, here's the thing. When I look at that card right there, I see Vegas. That looks to me like something you would go out to Las Vegas or even over here in Tunica to the casinos, and you would see this show live with fans. Have you ever tossed around the idea of maybe taking this to the casinos or something and see what they thought about it and see how it worked out and actually doing live shows?
I've done 2 live shows in my life, and I'm probably a lot better at doing customs. But if I could find somebody to work with, I would consider it. Actually, November the 3rd, there might be a show with several of these ladies on it, but I'm not sure yet, so I'm not going to say anything about it till it's 100% confirmed. But as far as me
that's
doing,
what I see when I see that.
I'm not going to do it by myself anymore. Been there, done that.
Well, it is a lot of work.
Do what now? I'm sorry.
It's a ton of work putting on a live show. But when I look at your cards, that's what I see, man. When I look at that, it don't look like no other customs that I see around here. It looks professional. All of these girls are actually real wrestlers on the circuit, aren't they? They're not.
Yeah.
This ain't what they specialize in. All these girls are working circuits somewhere around the country.
Yeah, we've had 2 girls over the years, Buster, that claimed to be trained. We brought them in. I sent one home after one match once, gave her money and says, don't come back. And then I had another one that was trained, but I don't know if she was just so nervous or whatever. And I told her, you need a lot more training before you come back here. But yes, you're right. We do not, and we will not have any untrained professional wrestlers in our ring. I have guys all the time. Hey, my wife wants to wrestle. She wants to come wrestle April Hunter. I'll pay you $500 if you can set that up. I wouldn't do it for $1 million. April Hunter is a professional wrestler, and his wife ain't.
Yeah, you get somebody hurt real easy with untrained people for sure. I don't know if anybody noticed it, but look up around the top of the card. It's 99% women, custom pro women wrestling, but you do have some guys sprinkled in on these tapings when y'all do them. And y'all just did a big taping this past Saturday, right?
Yes, sir. We taped 41 matches Saturday.
I seen where you said that you got a new customer from another new country. I seen a post where you said you got another customer from a brand new country that y'all hadn't never dealt with.
That's correct. Yes, sir. I love that. People ask me, well, I had a guy once here, a local promoter told me I couldn't use his building anymore because the TV station had a problem with their turnbuckles being in my cameras. I have two customers in Shelby County. 2. But if you go to England, I got a bunch. You go to Japan, we got a bunch. We got them. We even have one from Israel, which I hope he's safe and hadn't got hurt in all this mess. But we've had.
You ain't lying about that.
Huh?
I said, you ain't lying about that.
That's correct. And, but we have them all over the world. We have several from Australia, South America, Africa. We have a couple. I mean, it's really intriguing. And a lot of these people I haven't made friends like looking at them like me and you have, or meeting you at Dyer that night or whatever. But we're friends because of the wrestling, and they'll send and talk all the time about what we got going on.
Well, let me ask you this: these ladies and these gentlemen that come and do these custom matches, they actually make pretty good money, especially when you compare it to what they're actually really making out on the circuit, running real matches, going from town to town, working in front of live crowds. I would assume most of them make more money off of the customs doing these tapings than they do off of their circuit shows around the country.
I'm going to use your term, 99% do. We've had several girls over the years that's made over $1,700 on one Saturday.
That's a good payday. Hey, that's a hell of a lot of Friday and Saturday nights going from town to town, working in front of 75 or 100 people at a time.
Yeah, and we ain't, we ain't gave nobody a Coca-Cola, a hot dog, and a handshake. We paid them all. And as far as I know right now, unless we mispaid somebody Saturday, we don't owe anybody a penny for what they do. We pay them as soon as they're done each and every time we tape.
Yeah, that's good money, man. It's a good way to subsidize their other travels while they're trying to make it somewhere in this business. Because, I mean, it takes a lot of perseverance to really stick it out in this business, and it takes a hell of a lot of money. When I first broke in the wrestling business, I was told pro wrestling is a rich man's sport. And as a young kid, when I first broke in, I thought, that's crazy bullshit. But over the years, I've realized I've seen a lot of guys who have a lot of money try to start running wrestling companies and shows and be broke in 6 months or a year. And I'm talking about some of them had $1 million and was
one for sure.
Didn't know what they were doing,
no clue.
or even how to do it. And it wasn't long, 6 months down the line, they're flat broke, done blowed $1 million on nothing, trying to run wrestling shows so they can be wrestling promoters. Well, look, Daryl.
Yeah.
All right, I'm a customer. I see a flyer for Liberty Pro Women's Wrestling. I'm interested in booking a match. How do I seen your poster, but how do I go from seeing the flyer on Facebook to actually getting in touch with you guys to make this thing happen? How does that process work?
Well, on our website, we have a link, and they can go in. If they've done it before, they can simply go into the link buster and fill it out, hit submit, and then that automatically comes to me. And then I'll read it over and send it to the wrestlers. If they've never done it before, we prefer them to email me directly, and then I'll give them guidance. And, you know, like I had one guy the other day says, I'd like to get a bikini match. Well, you're at the wrong place. You know, you're not going to see our girls in bikinis.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. And he said, well, what do you think you are, goody two shoes or something? I said, no, sir, I'm a man with morals and standards. And we're not interested in that business. There's other companies out there to do it. You contact one of them. But
see, I think that's a big thing that set y'all apart from a lot of these other customs I see, is that fact right there, that you stick to your morals, you stick to your standards, and you don't let the money sway you, because this is the wrestling business. And someone goes to throwing money in your face, most people will pretty much sell their own mama for that money.
Yeah.
And that sets Liberty Pro Women's Wrestling apart from all these other custom companies that I see popping up. And they're popping up like wildfire now. It's not you. When I first noticed y'all, it was like y'all were really about the only one. And then I seen another one or two slowly over a year or two. But now, if you look, they're popping up everywhere. And it's just like it's just like a bad pro wrestling show. I'm assuming a bad pro wrestling show will give a good show a bad name without people even ever seeing it. Same thing with custom. The bad companies, they make everybody think that the whole custom pro wrestling industry is that way, when you're here showing us and telling us that it's not like that.
No, it won't be here. And I can honestly tell you, taking up for Lexi, it will never be at the Slamming Ladies in Florida. Never.
See, I really think there's something there, man, especially when you take into consideration that it allows these people to be their own booker for at least one match, or however many matches they want to pay for and book, man. And that's a lot of fantasy. A lot of people, a lot of wrestling fans out there have that fantasy period, just being able to book a match, book a show or a match and lay it out. So I like that. It's pretty cool. I didn't realize that, until you said it that way, but it makes a lot of sense to me, because I'm not going to lie. When I first started seeing customs pop up, obviously the first thing you think is it's a fetish thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you just do. And then when you see the companies that are doing that, then you kind of lump everybody in together until you see something different come along. And that's kind of what happened with me with Liberty Pro. I started being able to talk to a few of the girls that actually work there and other people that work there and come and do this. And it kind of changed my whole perspective on what custom pro wrestling really is.
Right. Well, we've been blessed to work with wonderful ladies. Outside of the two I told you that weren't trained, we've had two ladies that we've been told that they'll never get to come back over the years. And that includes when I owned MLW and also Liberty Pro now. And outside of that, I've been told F you one time by a girl that was paid by a competitor to come here and work. And so she could make up stuff about us for him back a few years ago. But outside of that, if we got a problem, and if I got heat with somebody, some lady that's wrestled, or even a guy, I don't know about it. They need to call and tell me, and let's get it corrected.
Well, I'll be honest with you. People get too caught up in the wrestling drama. It's hard, man. You can post something on Facebook, and I mean, it'll take on a life of its own, and most of the time there really ain't much there to it. It's just somebody expressing their opinion about something they seen in the wrestling business or something they know that has been done. And wrestling is a drama-filled business on its own. Is the custom business full of that much drama, or is it kind of over here by itself in a bubble, and y'all kind of keep all that contained? Do y'all? I mean, obviously you have to deal with some drama, but is it just like if you was just promoting a regular show every Friday night?
Right. No, we really don't have that much drama. I have a great support staff. Johnny Morton, Poker Face, Russell Golf, Zach Kaiser, like I mentioned a while ago, my beautiful and talented wife. You know, we're loaded with good people. Henry doing the web for us, and we're blessed. I mean, we've got it set up. If a girl happens to come there and she's accepted a match but says, "Oh, I don't know how to do a figure four," then Johnny or Poker One has, jumped right in there before the match started and showed them how to do it, so they would make sure they got it right. It ain't like, well, just go do the match, and if it comes out fine, it don't fine. No, not here. We're gonna do it right, and I'm proud that every one of them people will work with us and have worked with us, and still work for us, and they're all great people. You've known Poker probably longer than I have.
Yeah, I've known Poker since he broke into business, but him and Johnny both. Those are two great guys to have when you run into a situation like that where somebody don't know how to do something. That way, one of these two guys can show them the proper way to do it, and you don't have to just throw it out there and hope for the best. You know, overall, it's more than likely going to come off like you need it to.
Right. Well, I mean, we're charging them for a premium product. We've got to deliver a premium product. It's kind of go to Ruth's Chris when you pay $50 for a steak. You expect that steak to be a whole lot better than that steak you get at Golden Corral for $15. And that's
you ain't lying.
The philosophy we do here. If you're paying, guy pays $300 and roughly $65 for a 20-minute match, he deserves $365 worth of a good match. Now, is it perfect? No. But have you ever seen a wrestling show that was perfect? Somebody gonna miss a hold, move. It's gonna happen. That's
right. I've never seen one.
I can walk to the mailbox and trip. I mean, that don't mean I can't walk. That means I tripped one time. There's a difference.
Well, earlier you mentioned about having an issue with somebody else's building, and I've noticed y'all filmed in the old EIW building in New Bern. I've seen some old footage of y'all pictures and stuff. The MCW building in Osceola. Obviously the Memphis wrestling building. I've seen stuff out of there. But now y'all got go ahead, Daryl.
No, I'm just gonna say a little bit. We were only there like a couple, 3 months.
Well, here about maybe a year ago, maybe a little longer, you got set your own building up so you didn't have to go around and look for places to film, right?
Right. And we've been leasing that building now for 2 years, and last month, September, and we didn't get in it till January because I had to get it painted. The funny thing about that building was I drove by it, and that was the same building I used when I owned MLW, and nothing had rented it or been in it since 2013 when I left and had sold MLW until we come back to it. I guess God wanted us to go back home. That's all I can figure out.
Yeah, it was fate. That building was meant for y'all.
And it's just perfect for customs. You can't have a crowd. And there's not a lot of room for people to hang around. Yeah. But for a studio and for customs, it's perfect. Couldn't be any better.
I know it's sure a hell of a lot better than moving around from taping to taping. I can guarantee you that. Just the headache of always moving all your stuff and setting up in different places probably makes it a hell of a lot easier and a hell of a lot more fun to actually go do these tapings.
Yes, it is. It's a lot. But I got to say, we worked with some tremendous people there from the old EIW in New Bern, which is, I guess, out of business now. I'm not sure. But, we taped it. We started off at SWF in Tullahoma, Tennessee with Yukon Jack. I don't know if you ever met Yukon or not. He's a character, but in a good way. He's a good man. And
yeah, I never met him.
And then we taped, let's see, Newbern. We taped one time up in Cape Girardeau before one of the CCW shows, and that's another good, outstanding local promotion. And then we taped in Pocahontas with the old Don Bass company that Alan Stone took over. Was it SPWA, I think? I don't know. My memory ain't that good anymore.
I don't either. You know, I was out of the business for about 12 years, so.
You know Alan Stone, though, don't you?
Yeah, I know Alan Stone.
Yeah, he was running it, and we really enjoyed going there. It's just Pocahontas was kind of like Dyer; it was just way out of the way. And then we did do Memphis, that place here in Memphis, for I don't know, 3 tapings maybe. And then we lucked up and got to go to Osceola, and I got to see the Clap fellas again. They're good people.
Yeah.
When was it David and Motley that were a tag team for a long time?
Yeah, David and Motley.
Yeah, and they were a great tag team, and got to see them and Harry. And I never saw Carl, but I've talked to Carl probably more than I have the other 2. And then luckily we got our building ready. We went in and painted it. We spent about $10,000 upgrading it, getting it right, and we started taping there January of 2022.
Okay. I didn't realize y'all had actually been in that building that long, but I guess that's about right now that I think about it. Well, look, talking about this show, y'all got another taping coming up November 4th, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we do.
Well, look, I went and pulled up some graphics of some of the talent y'all got coming in. If you want to, I'll start pulling them up one by one, and you can tell us a little bit about each one of these girls and smarten the fans up to who these people are.
Be glad to.
Give me just a second, Daryl. You know I ain't no computer genius, so I say that every week. If it wasn't for my wife, we wouldn't be on here now, dude.
Well, if it wasn't for my wife, I probably wouldn't even be alive, because she did CPR on me when I died back in 2013. So I have a vested interest in that girl.
I hear you. You got to keep her around. All right, we got Stormy Renee.
Uh-huh. She is out of Wichita, Kansas. This will be her first time here with us. She's worked in Kansas, Texas, Oklahoma pretty much, and Missouri, and I think even Arkansas, now that I mention it. She's worked with a lot of the girls that's worked here, and she was scheduled once before, but she had to cancel. A family problem come up or something. I don't remember now exactly what, Buster, but she's ready to go. She's an outstanding talent. I've watched some of her matches on YouTube, and she's an outstanding talent.
Well, look, I'm going to pull her down and we'll move on to the next one. You know, you were talking about, shit, I lost my train of thought, dude. I'm getting old. Yeah, I'll think of it in a minute, Daryl. And
well, call me when you get here, because I'm at 65.
Yeah, really. Oh, that I was going to ask you. That's what I was going to bring up. Now, you went to all this trouble of getting this building. You spent a lot of money getting it ready and stuff. But then at early at the first of this year, you made a post that this was your last year. Is that still? Are you sticking with that? Is it still your last year? Are you getting out after this year?
I'm getting out of a lot of it. I'll be way back in the background, Buster, way back. Matter of fact, you won't even be able to see me. And but those people, all the people I mentioned a while ago, and also a little bit, and her husband Jason are going to be helping Brian and Stephanie and Johnny Russell run the thing, and we're looking forward to that day. The reason I'm mainly retiring is at 65 years old, I finally had my first grandchild, me and my wife, and we're gonna spend time with that grandbaby.
You better get it done while you got the time, man.
Yes,
I understand that 100%. Yes, sir, I do, man. Well, look, we got Shauna Reed here. Now, some of these girls I know about, some of them I don't. I don't know anything about Shauna Reed. So tell us a little bit about this girl.
Donna Reed's from Ohio originally. She lives in East Tennessee now. She's a very good trained pro wrestler. She goes to England probably 5 to 6 times a year and does a tour over there. She's very popular in England. She's an outstanding young lady. She's in the medical field some way, somehow. I'm not even sure if it's a vet or a doctor's office, but she wrestles a lot. She wrestles usually 3 times every weekend, along with holding down a full-time job. But as a wrestler, she is excellent in that ring. And she's been here. This will be her 3rd time this year. She's been here before, but this is her 3rd time this year with us. And she always gets 7, 8 matches, 9 matches every time she's been here.
Well, that's the one thing I hear the most about Liberty Pro is the talent that gets to go work for y'all. They always want to come back. I've never really heard of anybody I've run into personally, talked to them that's ever worked there. Everybody who's worked there always is looking forward to coming back, and that's a good sign. It's really no different than any other wrestling company. Your talent need to enjoy their work environment. They need to have fun while they're there, and they need to get paid too. That's the biggest problem in the pro wrestling business, period. It is back in the days, guys actually were able to make a half-ass living. Some of them a great living at pro wrestling, doing the same stuff everybody's doing now for no money.
Right.
It's just the wrestling business to me has kind of been turned on its head. It's topsy-turvy for what it really should be.
Well,
all right, Daryl, we got Nikki Victory here. Tell us a little something about this lady.
Nikki Victory. I tell you, that is an outstanding lady. She's been with NWF. That's her home promotion out of the Cincinnati area for Roger Ruffin and his wife, Nemesis. And she is very well trained. She, as you can see, a beautiful young lady. She's just become their #1 female heel in the company up there. She'd never been heel, actually, till she worked here for us. And then she kind of enjoyed it. So she talked them into letting her turn heel up there. She's their current champion, the NWF women's champion. I think she's been wrestling now about 7 years. The funny story about Nikki, it took me about 4 years to talk her into doing customs because of the things we were talking about a while ago, the perceptions.
The stigma.
But she comes, I think she's been here 3 times this year, but normally it's 4 to 5. It's just she's getting busier because she's on demand. She's been on AEW. She's been on Impact. I mean, she's definitely she's primed for the bigger shows, no doubt about it. And I wouldn't be surprised if she don't get there soon.
Well, I think this girl here actually, when EIW first moved to Trenton, I want to say maybe this girl come in and wrestled on a show one night in Trenton. I could be wrong, but the Victory name. What'd you say, Daryl?
She did. Her and
okay, I knew
Selena Dean stopped there and worked on their way back to Cincinnati.
I knew that this girl looked familiar and the name sounded familiar. Yeah, she's a good worker, man. She's good in the ring. Yeah. And all of your talent looks professional.
Thank you. That was after she had done about 10 matches for us that day. Also, when you saw her.
Yeah, man, I talked to Brian and Stephanie a lot of times after they've had a whole day of coming and doing tapings, going somewhere a lot of times, wrestling Friday night, coming during the day and spending all day doing tapings, and then showing up at a show Saturday night, man, and I'll be like, I don't see how they do it. They have to be exhausted, man.
Well, it ain't affecting Stephanie, she's a whole lot younger than Brian. I'm joking. No, I'm kidding. But I don't know
Brian's huffing and puffing in the corner, huh?
Yeah, no. I don't know how they do it either one of them or any of them. But, some people just love to wrestle, and they love the crowds, and they love the customers both. You can do both. It don't make you any less or any more of a person. It's like you wear shorts on Monday, you can wear long pants on Tuesday. I mean, it's the same exact thing. I try every way I can to protect the image of what we do. And it's hard. You got some people that's done got their mind made up. They know who they're going to vote for president next year right now, and you're not going to change their mind. But what I'm trying to say is, those you just say, well, I hate to feel that way, but you go find somebody else who wants to learn about it and do it, or depending on if it's a talent or a customer. I see you got the $1 million baby up there.
All right, here's our girl right here. We were talking about Stephanie, $1 million baby.
Yeah,
right. She's a former Liberty Pro women's. I always want to say heavyweight champion, but Liberty Pro women's champion, and she's a multi-time women. Liberty Women's Pro Women's Wrestling Tag Team.
Keep that going in and out. I don't know what's happening. You can hear me.
I think it was me yelling in the phone. Am I getting echoing now? Okay. All right, $1 million baby, man. Tell us a little bit about her. You've worked with her for a long time. Like you said, she started with you when she was 14 years old. So you kind of watched this girl grow up into a grown lady, woman.
And a great mother, too. Let's throw that in there.
Right.
And, Stephanie come to work. And by the way, hey, Stephanie, I can't figure out how to say hey back on this thing over here, this chat box. But she was working and had trained with Randy and them in Trenton. Her stepdad, Brad, worked there. And I think he had a part in training her also, but he did an outstanding job. But we met her around 14, 15 years old. Her and Black Widow were working in Trenton a whole lot, and also Black Widow's sister, and I apologize, I cannot remember her name, but I can see her right now. And they all did customs with us, and Stephanie just kept on and got better and better, and I got to tell you, she's one of the best wrestlers, or one of the best wrestlers in this part of the country. And,
she's developed into one of the top talents around here for sure, without a doubt, man. Just over the few years I've known her, I've seen her improve leaps and bounds from where the first time I seen her to where she's at now. She's developed into one of the very tip-top ladies around this area for sure.
Yeah, and we were blessed to get to go to her and Brian's wedding. I think it was in April. I think maybe April 22nd. I'm not exactly sure on the date. And we were blessed to be there to see that ceremony. And she's been good. She helps a little bit, pretty much runs the back for us, to be honest. Austin Lane did it at first, and then Poker did it a while. And now Little Bit's doing it. And Stephanie's jumped in there and learned from her and learning how to do it so we can keep the matches rolling. Buster, we started at 8:15 Saturday morning, and we walked out the door at 7 o'clock that night, and we did 41 matches.
That's a lot of matches and a long time, a lot of hours.
Yep.
I don't see, like I said, I don't see how they do it sometimes. And then, all right, Daryl, we got Marina Tucker.
Yeah, Marina Tucker, outstanding.
I've actually seen this.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Daryl. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I've actually seen her a few times wrestle, so I'm a little familiar with her. But you know her way better than I do. So kind of tell us a little bit about this girl.
Well, this young lady's originally from Detroit, Michigan, lived in Atlanta for a few years, and now lives down in the great state of Florida. I think it's CCW. I hope I'm right on that. She's been a champion there pretty much 3 years off and on. You may have seen her on another promotion. based out of California, called Wow. She's Penelope Pink there, but we're not supposed to say that. And I can't advertise her that way. But she's been there. She was their champion for over a year. I think she's still champion. I'm not sure, to be honest, because I don't get to watch Wow a lot. It's on at 1, 2, and 3 o'clock in the morning here, and I'm too old for that. But outstanding personality, beautiful lady, inside and out. Don't just let the outside cover fool you. She's a beautiful lady. Me and my wife enjoy having her here. She's been nothing but great to us, but great to the wrestling business, helpful when she's here, and we're proud that she's part of our team.
Darryl, we're gonna move right along. It'll let me pull up the next girl. Y'all have now all these ladies we're showing right now. Of course, this is the wrestling business, card subject to change, but all these ladies we've shown so far and are going to show are all going to be on your November 4th taping coming up, right?
Yes, sir.
I think we all know this lady right here. She's pretty well known around the Mid-South area.
She has really made a name.
Maddie the Baddie.
She's made a name for herself since she started. I think the first time she worked here was December last year. I may be incorrect. We brought her in for a tryout, and she impressed everybody very well. She'd been trained, I know, by Trace Lee Hunt, and I'm not sure if there was somebody else involved. I'm not sure if there was other people involved. I know she works in Boonville a lot for Neil Taylor and his great company down there, EPW. And but she's outstanding, has come a long way. She's really promoted herself good. I saw where she's going to be part of a ladies wrestling company, I think, that does house shows, maybe in New Jersey or somewhere. So she's really come a long way. I know she's going to be at that WrestleCade in November. I saw where her and Trace both are going to it. So they're definitely coming on and growing in this business. And that's what you got to do. If you don't promote yourself, ain't nobody going to do it for you. I mean, we advertise, but when it comes to promoting, it comes down to yourself.
Right. And don't stay in one place. If you get the opportunity, go everywhere you can and try to wrestle. Every territory, every part of the country is different. Every audience is different. I'm glad to see a lot of this talent branching out.
Right. And I'll say this, Buster, we will never tell somebody they can't work for another promotion, including customs. We do have some promoters that say, if you work for Durrell Bruff or Liberty Pro, I can't use you here. Well, that's their problem because they're missing out on good talent. But I can assure you, I've never told a single person in my life you can or can't. Now, if I was Vince McMahon or Tony Khan, I was paying you $100,000 or $200,000 a year.
Right.
Yeah, you can't. But when you work one Saturday a month for me, I don't own you.
Well, that's part of the wrestling drama. It's been that way forever and ever. If you're working for one place, they don't want you working nowhere else, and it just ain't like that, man. I'm like you. If you ain't got them under contract and you ain't paying them enough money to tell them what to do and what not to do, you ain't really got no right to get in their business. I mean, even WWE still considers pro wrestlers subcontractors, independent contractors. So, but we all know that's a lie once you sign that contract,
Exactly.
But out here, I just don't see some of the things. You hear about it all the time, promoters telling guys they can't work at certain places, and then the guy's actually not going. It is what it is, man. That's just a part of the wrestling business. It's always been that way, and I guess it always will be that way, man.
It goes back as long as I can remember, Buster. And like I say, I've been around it since 1962.
That's a long time, man. That's a long time, Darryl. I wouldn't even, hell, that's 12 years before I was even born, man.
Might have been 12 years before you even thought about it, too.
Right. Earlier in our message when we was talking about you were talking about we can talk about wrestling all the way back to 64. I'm like, hell, I done forgot most of the wrestling I growed up learning and stuff, much less all the way back to 64. That's just way before my time, man. Look, you mentioned this lady right here several times so far, and she's well known around our area. A little bit.
By the way, before we do that, I want to tell Stephanie thank you for the comment. Like I said, I don't know how to message back, but I can verbally tell her thank you. That was a nice compliment. And PK Ripper also, thank you, sir. Buster does a good job with this. This young lady is a little bit. And she was trained mainly by Sarge. I don't know if you know that or not. And she has been in the business, if I'm not wrong.
I think Sarge has trained everybody.
Yeah, I think you're right, or had a hand in it anyway. But he done an outstanding job with Little Bit. And I know she's been in it 13 years. It may be a little longer. She was another one that was hard to get to come do customs. Took me a long time. And then after she done it, she's enjoyed, I guess, every minute of it. I will say this, we just run a report the other day, and in the history of our company, what did I tell you, 1,734 matches, Little Bit has performed in 306 of those matches. That's how popular she is.
Wow, that's crazy.
Unreal.
That is crazy.
That's 1/6 of all the matches we've done. She's been in it and been in every role from jobber to as high up the rank as you can go. She's been like Stephanie, $1 Million Baby. Both of them's been 2 times. Well, Megan's 3 times champion. You almost made me say heavyweight, and I don't think you can call either one of the girls a heavyweight. Her and $1 Million Baby currently hold the tag team championship right now. We have a customer that does a Camel Clutch title. And she's the Camel Clutch champion, and she defends it just about every taping. And she's done good at that, but she's been as far as my right hand as you can be. Up to about 3 years ago, she backed out of that a little bit because she, like Stephanie, has 2 kids, works full-time job, and we were overloading her. So now all she does is help us in the back, but she's better than Wonder Woman. That's all I can say. She does it all for us.
Yeah, she's been around here for a long time, and I think Sarge has any of these West Tennessee talent. Sarge has had a hand in helping them out through their career, whether it was training them fully or just finishing them up to get them in the ring, or just being mentors to some of them.
Right.
Sarge, his name comes up so much when I talk to these people around West Tennessee, man.
Well, I was at Sarge's retirement match in the New Daisy years ago. Did I lose you?
No, I can hear you.
Okay.
I didn't know he had a retirement match back in the day.
Him and the guy he teamed with for a long time, the blonde-headed guy, I forget his name now.
Mickey Ray.
That was it. Thank you. And they had their retirement match at the New Daisy that night. Tasha Simone and Christy Ritchie were on the card, and I actually went and filmed that match for what's the name of it? Anyway, he's a good company. Randy Powell's his name, but he had hired me to film that match for them, or take pictures, not film it. And I was there, and Sarge and Mickey Ray retired that night. And then the very next week on Saturday night, I saw Sarge wrestling. So that might have been the shortest retirement. He's still going strong, and he's a great asset to the area.
Yeah, that's one of them Terry Funk retirements right there, sounds like.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, look, Darryl, we got Gemma Jules.
Yeah.
Gemma Jules here. Tell us a little bit about this lady.
Well, this young lady's from Atlanta, Georgia. She is a 6 foot tall Amazon, and she is really really improved in this business since she started. She's wrestling all over the South now: Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina. She just keeps growing and growing, and it's, getting harder to get her here sometimes because she's doing so well and very well, very popular and unpopular both. But she has done real well in the wrestling business. Outstanding young lady.
Oh, I got lost there for a second, man. My computer was doing something that it don't normally do. I don't even know what the hell was going on there, Darryl. You know, with this technology, I'm a little too old for this shit. I'll be honest with you, man.
I'm gonna predict in 10
Sometimes it
years.
takes all my focus.
Yep. In 10 years, I probably ain't gonna be able to figure out how to pump gas.
If they have their way in 10 years, you may not have to pump gas, whether you want to or not, man.
Well, I don't know. I may have to be like
is,
Buddy, dig for oil, because I don't want no battery vehicle. And that's all I'm gonna say
man,
on
I'm
that.
the same. I'm the same way, man.
Buster, we're big boys. That battery ain't gonna pull us 300 miles, and we'll probably only get like 200 on a battery.
Right. Well, look, we got fantasy now. I've actually had the privilege of seeing this lady work twice. I think I've seen her in Dyer, Tennessee, at least once, and I've seen her somewhere else one time too. But tell us about fantasy here.
She's worked in Trenton 2 or 3 times, maybe even 4 now over the years. Fantasy is about 4'10", maybe 11 inches tall. She's standing on a paper towel or something, but she's a little spitfire out of northern Georgia. She outstanding wrestler. She really is. The only thing that's ever hurt her in her career was if she'd have been a foot tall, not even a foot, maybe 6 inches taller, I predict she would have probably been on the major circuits. She's an excellent wrestler. Can give you the best match you want, either heel or baby face. She's I think she's on her 22nd year now, and she's only not so old. So I'm not going to tell her age. I get in trouble. But outstanding talent.
Yeah, you'll be getting emails and phone calls.
Yep, she's been in, I think, if I'm not wrong, a few TV stunt things or something down there around Atlanta. You know, they do a lot of filming down there now. But she's an outstanding young lady, and mother and grandmother, and married, and just a good person.
We'll move right on to the next one, Darryl. I know there's a lot of them. I didn't want to leave nobody out, so I pulled all the girls you. Oh yeah, we'll I'll be getting calls and letters too, man. All right, this is another lady we know a lot about. She's made a pretty good name for herself around the territory here. She's a mainstay at EPW. She's been on Memphis Wrestling, and she goes around and works the circuit pretty heavily.
Yeah, outstanding young lady. She does work EPW. That's her home promotion. I will say we're probably her second home promotion, and I'm proud to do that. Diana's been with us a while now, and she is a good person. There ain't no other way to word it. She's a good person, a good-hearted person, and she works hard in the ring. She has honed her skills really good from back when I first saw her, probably, I don't know, 8 years ago maybe. But she's been our champion a couple times, been the tag champ with a little bit once, and she's outstanding talent. And if she comes to your town, like many of the other girls we talked about, spend your money and go see her, because you will enjoy it. She's a good wrestler.
Yeah, I've seen her. I've probably seen her other than $1 Million Baby. I've probably seen her wrestle live more than any of the rest of these girls that we've looked through tonight and seen, the ones that I know. And she puts on a hell of a show. She's a hell of a talent in the ring. And she has really, I mean, she's got to be in the top 5 ladies around our territory.
I agree. I
Yeah, I
100%
mean,
agree.
yeah, she's all over the place, man. And she's I tell you what, most of the time I've seen her, she's been a heel, and she's really a good heel.
Yeah,
She's really good at getting heat, man.
she is.
I like her, man. Like I said, she's definitely one of the top 5 or 6 ladies in our whole area, bar none.
I agree. I agree. It's fun. I drink my drink, and about 5 seconds later, I see me drinking my drink on the screen here.
All
Crystal
right,
Fire.
Daryl, we got a Crystal Fire.
I will say this: Crystal Fire is one outstanding lady wrestler. She worked for us the first time in Tullahoma when I had MLW. We needed a replacement, and one of the girls from Chattanooga area suggested her. We brought her in, and we've been working with her ever since. She travels a lot. She does East Kentucky, East Tennessee, Northern Georgia, South Carolina. She's been over in Alabama. She's probably, if I was guessing now, I'm gonna say she's probably been at it about 15 years. But one of the best heels there is. She don't mind. She will do whatever she needs to do to make the match great and the customer happy. And we're proud to have her on our team too.
And once again, just to let everybody know, all these ladies we've looked at and talked about are all going to be on your next taping on November 4th. Daryl, while I'm pulling up this next picture, why don't you tell everybody how to get in touch with you if they want to book a match? Let everybody know how to get in contact with you and Liberty Pro
All
while
right.
I'm pulling this up.
All right. Our website is, of course, www.libertyprowrestling.com. There's no women's in there, just libertyprowrestling.com. And once you get on the site, it will show you all the matches we tape. It will show you the upcoming lineup. And on that page where the lineup is, we'll have the little link to click on if you want to book a match. And I'm telling you, it's so simple that even I can do it. So that ought to tell you something. And then once you do that, you'll hit submit. You'll pick the wrestlers, the style match, everything you want. It goes, like I said, it's automated. It comes to me. I approve it. I send it to the girls or guys and girls to approve. And then once it's approved, then I put excuse me, my sensor is telling me that it's warmed up, sugar. And then once it does that, then we tell you it's approved. They'll send you a bill, computer generated through PayPal. You pay the bill for your match, and we're in business. It's. I've been doing this a long time, Buster, but thanks to Henry, my webmaster, he's got it designed to where Stevie Wonder could almost do it now. I mean, I got to brag on him 100 times over. The man's amazing.
Well, it sounds like you got a hell of a team around you. Sound like you picked the right people to help you do this, man.
Yes, sir. When I was in the grocery business and I got promoted to supervisor in 1987, I told my boss, I said, you may find out I'm not as good a store manager as you thought I was because I got the best team in the world. And I did. And we're lucky to have the same thing here in Liberty Pro. Excellent team.
Well, it's good to have people you can count on and you can trust to do what you need them to do because, I mean, you just couldn't do it on your own. People think even running a wrestling show, just a Friday night show, a spot show somewhere, there's a lot of work that goes into that, and it takes more than one person to really make that thing happen. And if you got people around you you can trust and you can depend on, it takes a lot of worry off of your mind. You don't have to try to spread yourself so thin with trying to oversee every single thing. It makes a big difference.
Well, I can tell you this. The April taping, my sister had a stroke up in Union City, and I had to be with her. I mean, it was just down to her and me. Neither one of us had our own kids. That's actually my step grandson, but and I had to be with her. And the team took care of things probably better than if I'd been there in the way. And that's when I knew how great a team I had.
That's right. You need people you can count on when you need to count on them, man. Well, look, what about Ella here? Why don't you tell us a little bit about this lady?
Ella is unique. She comes to the ring most of the time in a straight jacket. She does the crazy gimmick. One hell of a wrestler though. Her and Nikki Victory is who's been fighting over that NFW title up in Cincinnati for the last 6 months. Ella was a former champion, and I think had held it for like a year and a half. And she is an excellent wrestler. She's been in it now probably 6-7 years. She's married to a wrestler, the way I understand it. I don't usually ask much of their personal business, but she's good, and she cares, and that's what we like. When somebody cares, when they get here and they care about doing the match, that means a lot. Sometimes it's like, give me the match and I'll go do it. Well, they usually don't fit in very well because we have to have a little. So it's more than just give me the match and let's go do it. You got to look at it and know what you're doing. But outstanding lady, another outstanding. This card here is loaded with outstanding ladies and guys both.
Well, you know, one thing I'm noticing that I didn't quite realize is that you do have a fair share of local ladies, but really most of these ladies are coming from all over, different places all over the country.
Yeah,
you know, it ain't like that you're just using only the girls around here. You're bringing in these ladies from all over the place. So I didn't realize that there were that many of these ladies that y'all brought in from different places.
Mm-hmm. It varies.
You know, that gives all the girls, it gives the girls around here an opportunity to work with different talent.
Exactly. And that is part of what we do. We want girls to interchange with each other, and maybe they'll call a little bit and ask her if she wants to come to Dallas, Texas and work a show, or $1 Million Baby. I know she was asked or was going to be asked to go to San Antonio to work for Rudy Gonzalez. I can't tell you that ever happened or not, but Rudy did get her info from me and asked because he liked her work. And I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but when we sit down each week and watch Raw, SmackDown, AEW, Impact, what's the other one? NWA, just about every show we've had at least 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 and even 5 sometimes girls that have worked for us coming up the ranks. We didn't get them there. They got themselves there, but we were privileged to have them here on the way. That JCJ and Gigi Dolan on NXT, both of them have worked for us.
Right.
And outstanding girls. And they're doing great in NXT. I'll have to give them props. They are doing outstanding.
Yeah, it's awesome that you've got to work with these girls and had them come into these shows before they hit the big time. To me, it's another thing that separates Liberty Pro Women's Wrestling from other custom pro wrestling companies. Y'all bring in the talent. All your talent looks professional. They all look like stars from the get-go. Like I said, anytime I see your card, the first thing I think is, man, it looks like something I would go to Las Vegas and watch this show, where you would go from casino to casino, taking these girls around and putting on Liberty Pro Women's Wrestling, man. And that goes a long way with setting y'all above and beyond a lot of other custom companies. In my opinion, it does.
Well, thank you. The one you
we got
on,
April.
I
Yes, sir.
ain't
Go ahead.
about this lady, except she's great. April Hunter, she's done it all. And I mean, she has her own podcast. She's been in movies. She's been done stunts. She's worked for Impact. She worked for WEW, Women's Extreme Wrestling. Uh, uh, she worked for ECW, I believe, a couple of times. I may be wrong on that one, but I believe I'm right. She has been all over the world, and still to this day, she's probably one of our more mature wrestlers, but she is outstanding in the ring. Fans love her. She's already got like 5 or 6 matches booked for November the 4th, and we're just now getting the orders in. But everybody loves her. She's a good human being.
Well, look, Dale, since you said that, what would be the deadline? Say somebody wants to get their order in for November 4th. What's the final cutoff time to do that?
Let's see, November 4th. The cutoff would be the 28th of October.
Well, look, your current Liberty Pro Women's Champion is, unless I'm wrong and I missed something, is the Goddess of the Night.
That's
right?
correct. Miss Nix. She had a previous booking.
Let me pull her up because I didn't think it was
Yeah. She's not going to be here in November. She had
I noticed that she wasn't on the card.
But she's wonderful. This girl's, like several of the others we mentioned, is going places. She is.
Right. She's a star.
She's a star. It's wrote all over her, and it's up to her to get it done. But the kid's a star, and I'm proud we have her at Liberty. And I think she's worked Impact, and I hear through the rumors she may be working at another show coming through town. I'm not sure, but outstanding young lady. Wonderful attitude. Wonderful.
Yeah, she was a long time, held the Memphis Wrestling Women's title for a long time, and she's currently right now still the Premier Pro Ladies Champion too, which they've got a show. That's Brian and Stephanie and Zach. They've got a show coming up this Friday night, and if I've got my stuff right, I think $1 Million Baby's actually gonna finally get her shot back at Nick's for that Premier Pro Ladies title.
Yeah, I think so. Nix has held it now, I guess, around 3 months.
Yeah, it's been a good while. She's I would say you're right, at least 3 months.
I didn't know about that other title Nix had, but the Premier Pro I did, and of course ours. She beat $1 Million Baby for ours. So
that's
she
what I thought.
Me here and at Premier. So I'm sure Miss Stephanie, aka $1 Million Baby, is ready to get her straps back.
Well, Daryl, man, we're gonna have to. We still got about 15 minutes. We're gonna start wrapping it up. Look, just me and you here. Do you watch any of the local wrestling products?
I tried to. I'm not gonna say I go a lot. I've been to Dyer PPW, I think 3 times now. I've been to Cape Girardeau 3 times over the years. Let's see. I ain't got the EPW yet, but I promised Neil before the good Lord takes me home, I'm getting there. I've been to several of them. I can't EIW when it was in business. Right. I've been to TEIWF over the years several times. SPWA when it was still in business, and Raymer before it moved to Pocahontas. Don Bass was a hoot. I used to love to go there and spend time with Don Bass, just talking to him. One of the greats. Never got the credit he deserved in this area, but he could put on a different mask every 3 weeks and nobody ever knew it was him.
Right, right. He was one of the unsung heroes of Memphis wrestling, old school Memphis wrestling. He was one of the unsung heroes. I'm like you. There's no telling how many mask gimmicks is on record, and then there's no telling how many that ain't on record where he threw a mask on and did something for a little while.
Yeah. I remember the first time I saw him wrestle was in Union City, Tennessee, and he wrestled under the name of Don Welch.
Well, hey, was he not really a Welch, or was his wife a Welch?
I'm not sure. I'm not. I never asked him that when he was still here with us. I never asked him. I always wondered.
I don't know if it was him. For some reason, in my head, I'm thinking that his wife was a Welch. He married into the Welch family.
Well,
I could be wrong about that. That's something Johnny Morton would know more about than I would.
Yeah, Johnny. I guarantee you, when I want to know something that I can't remember, whatever, I call 1-800 Johnny Morton and I get my answer.
Well, let me ask you this: after all these years, you're still a fan of pro wrestling?
Oh, always will be.
I'm the same way. It pisses me off sometimes, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm done with it. But then I always come back, man. Once it's in you, it's in you.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, wrestling's worse than cancer because you can't get rid of it once you got it. You can't. I don't care who you are.
Right. It's the worst drug addiction you can damn near have because it stays with you for life no matter what you do.
And I've quit it. Oh, I'm probably up to around 7,000 times now, but next day, but I in my mind, I quit the grocery business a lot in 46 years too. Now don't understand me. It wasn't just one thing. It's both.
Well, Daryl, man, I appreciate you so much for coming on. The one thing I like to try to do, I'm not a computer guy, so I don't have a lot of sizzle, but I always like to make sure we have substance. More than sizzle, I value substance, and I've been looking forward to this show because I'm a novice to the custom pro wrestling market too, and I had a lot of questions, and you answered a lot of them, man. And I appreciate you so much for coming on. And look, I know that you're going to be, like you said earlier, you're going to be, after this year, you're going to be way out in the background somewhere, but maybe sometime in the later part of December, I can get you back on and we can just talk wrestling. If you got some favorite matches from Liberty Pro you want to show, get them to me. And I'd love to have you back, man, where we could just bullshit and talk wrestling, not just promote.
I'd be glad to. I love wrestling. You know, the biggest thing in wrestling I have a problem with is people taking advantage of people. And, you know, it's been going on for as long as we both been involved in wrestling. I just hope and pray that people start treating people right and with respect like they should. And, you know, it's like anything. You get out of it what you put in it.
Exactly.
And we don't have girls coming 3 and 4 times for 4 or 5 years if we're not treating them right. And when they come, unless they choose to rent a car, and are we out of time? If we are, I'll shut up.
No, you're good. You're good.
But me or Johnny picks them up at the airport. Most of the, thank you, Eric. Most of the time it's me, but Johnny helps me out. Poker's actually helped me out too. But from then we take them to get them whatever they want, something to eat, a convenience store to get snacks, whatever. We take them to the motel. We pick them up on Saturday morning. They stay with us all day. If they fly in, we usually try to go eat with them. We don't every time because sometimes we got plans too. But I'd say 98% of the time we go eat. And then we take them back to the motel, and then we pick them up Sunday morning and take them to the airport to catch their flights. I mean,
full service.
Well, number one, Memphis ain't the nicest city in America.
Right.
We both know that. And then number two is when they work for us, me and Susan treat them like we're their mama and daddy, and like we would treat our own daughter. We do not want them to get involved in any of the wrong places. If they want to go somewhere and they say, "Oh, I'd like to go to Bill Street." I said, "Well, if you go to Bill Street, do not go by yourself. We make sure we give them tips like that and stuff to guide them. I feel responsible for each and every girl, and guy too. We flew in a guy or two before."
Well, Daryl, like I said, it was my pleasure having you on. This is one of the shows that I have been looking forward to since the day we agreed that you was coming on, man. I feel like we learned a lot about custom pro wrestling today, and it maybe open some people's eyes to what is out there, what could be out there. Like I said, Liberty Pro around here, I don't think there's any question that it is without a doubt the top custom pro wrestling company around here, without a shadow of a doubt. And man, I've enjoyed this. I love talking to you, and me and you'll get a date set up for late in December before you fade off into the background, and we'll just do what we'll do on that one is we'll just bullshit and chat about wrestling.
Sounds good to me. I can go all the way
Daryl,
as far as Rowdy Red Roberts and Herb Welch.
well, I'm pretty sure you can smarten me up on some of that old wrestling. Man, I love talking old wrestling. Like I said, I'm not really a wrestling historian. I'm mainly from the time I started watching it to now. I'm not a historian, but I love talking to people who know the shit I don't know, who can tell me
I don't know
stuff that's happened.
Pretty darn smart.
Took a long time, man. I'll be honest with you. Look, I didn't know all this shit when I was in the business, man, and I didn't realize I had learned as much as I have until several years, probably 5 or 6 out of being out of the business, and I would just see stuff, and man, and you can't help it if you've been around it and you know it, and you see people do shit. If it's good, you like it, but if it's wrong, I just can't help it. I learn a lot from a lot of people.
Yes, sir. I watched Eddie Marlin in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee one night. I was up there working in my grocery stores, and Buster, I went to the show and I watched him teach me how to make a lot of money. He bought a 99-cent 3-liter RC at Sam's. He bought those red cups. He bought a bag of ice, and he sold drinks for $1 each. He got 21 drinks out of a 3-liter bottle. So for $2, is, I don't know. I was still in E.W. James, so it was 97 or before. He took $2 and made $21 off of it. It's stuff like that. Learn.
Right. That's the wrestling business. That's where I think that we've lost the plot about wrestling is, I mean, this business was designed to make money.
Yes, sir.
Plain and simple. It was designed to make money. And now I think that over the past 40, 50 years, 40 at least, we've romanticized the business so much. It's all about this love and passion. With that is true. But I don't think none of the old guys would give up their paydays for the love and the passion. You know what I mean? It's really all about the money you can make in it. That's what it was designed for. That's how it was designed as a business. And I really wish wrestling would go back to that, making a point to try to make money instead of just putting on shows,
Yeah, I'll agree. And I'll say one last thing, and then I'm going to shut up because I know you need to go. But I'm telling any young professional wrestler out there, male, female, or in between, whatever, do not wrestle for nothing. That is my advice to everybody. I don't give a shit. At least get your gas money, if nothing else. Because if you drive 100 miles and you drive back 100 miles and you don't get paid, you didn't do yourself any favors.
Right. I agree with you 100%, man. And guys will do it. Guys will pay you to let them wrestle. And that's just the honest truth of it.
Well, they can call me. I don't have any like that.
Daryl, like I said, it's my pleasure. I appreciate you so much for coming on, my man. And we'll get together and work out a December date. And like I said, I learned a lot, and I'm glad I enjoyed this a whole lot, man.
I did too, Buster. Thank you very much for inviting us.
Thank you, and you have a good night.
You too, sir.
All right, y'all. I've got a few things I need to promote. We got one last comment from Leon Kellum, Speak the Truth. I appreciate everybody who's watched, who's commented, who's interacted with us. I've got a few things I need to promote, and then we're going to get out of here and let you people get on with your real life and do whatever you got to do. Let's start out with October 25th. And this is one that I'm really, really looking forward to also. October 25th, it's a Wednesday, 7 p.m. You see it right there. Terry Golden and David Jett. Zero fucks given. MCW, Memphis Championship Wrestling, WWF Developmental Company. We're going to talk about Jerry Lawler. We're going to talk about Bruce Pritchard. We're going to talk about Kevin Kelly. We're going to talk about David Jett and Terry Golden's real feelings about working with the king himself, and we're going to see what they got to say. You heard Golden last time. He said even if the king dies between now and then, he's still going to unload on him. So this is going to be a don't miss show. Wednesday, October 25th at 7 p.m., Memphis Championship Wrestling. We're going to find out all the little dirty secrets and all the issues that went on. We're going to talk about the talent WWF sent in, and there's no telling what else we're liable to talk about. If you watched the last one, it was a fun show. I had a great time, and I don't expect this one to be no different. Wednesday, October 25th, 7 p.m. Do not miss it. Guys, I got another one. We got another on that show the day before on October 24th. We've got the very final. We got the final PKAW, KAW reunion tour update show. Last bit is 2 days before the actual show on October 26th at the Slide and Ride Rodeo Arena in Jackson, Tennessee. It's a Tuesday, October 24th at 7 p.m. It's a Buster Unmasked pop-up event. There's no telling who we're going to have on. We're going to have some special guests, and there's no telling, man. We're going to find out maybe is he high or ain't he high? We don't know. We're going to wait and see. As soon as I get a solid confirmation, I'll let you guys know. But it's a burning question since KAW times. Is he high? We're going to find out. October 24th on a Tuesday at 7 p.m. That's another show that you do not, without a doubt, do not want to miss. All right, guys, I got 2 more shows to promote. On October 18th, it's a Wednesday. Let me get the graphic pulled up here. October 18th, we got Harry Clapp Serpent. He's the owner, the booker of MCW, Osceola's Mid-Southern Championship Wrestling, and you can see it right there. Wanted. He's a wanted man. He feels like he's a wanted man, and we're going to talk to Harry about all things MCW, and we're going to find out why he feels like he's a wanted man in this business. Do not miss it. That's Wednesday, October 18th at 7 p.m. Do not miss it. Guys, tomorrow, let me pull this one up. Tomorrow night's a Thursday. It's a special pop-up show. It's everything Premier Pro Wrestling. Premier Pro Wrestling's got a big show coming up Friday night at the Dyer Fire Department in Dyer, Tennessee. We're going to have the guys and girls on from Premier Pro. I don't know exactly who's going to be on. Zach, T-Pain, $1 Million Baby, maybe all of them. I don't know. But tomorrow night, Thursday, October 12th, 7 p.m., do not miss it. Same Big Buster time, same Big Buster channel, all things Premier Pro. We're going to run through the card for this coming Friday night at the fire department. This is a do not miss show. And if you're going to be at the fire department on Friday night, you can tune in to us and you're going to see what the card is and the lineups and the matchups. Do not miss it. Guys, once again, I want to thank Thomas for coming on. Do not forget, November 4th is Liberty Pro Women's Wrestling's next taping. And if you want to book a match and you want to request a match, order a match, the 28th of October, Thomas said, was the cutoff date. So find Liberty Pro Women's Wrestling. Book your own match. You can be your own booker, but get your orders in by October 28th. That's the deadline. Guys, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. Don't forget, tomorrow night, we're right back here, 7 o'clock live. Thank you, guys, and good night.